Hey folks, this is the other Barack coming to you live and direct from an undisclosed location. We have a clip here of Abby Martin getting annihilated by Emily Schrader, who I know personally, on Piers Morgan. Let's stick around for the whole clip. I have made many videos about Abby in the past, and here we are again. Let's talk about it after.
Look, what precipitated even the origin of Hamas? Hamas didn't just grow out of thin air. I mean, it was precipitated by
but what about my question, though?
Decades of brutal occupation and ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, but what about my question?
The question whether or not Hamas is genocidal in its intent, I disagree. And Emily's saying, look, Hamas is reacting. They're an armed resistance group trying to fight for their liberation.
I'm not justifying anything that they've done.
The United States also called Nelson Mandela and the ANC a terrorist organization. I think they're an armed resistance group trying to fight for the liberation of Palestine.
Do you think they're a terrorist
organization? I'm not going to sit here and give an obligatory... Do you think Israel's a terrorist organization,
Of course
Emily?
not.
Do you think Israel's a terrorist organization?
Not.
Well,
can you answer my question? Do
yeah,
you think Hamas is a terrorist organization?
I already did.
Let
me explain something to you.
Do you think that the acts committed on October 7th were legitimate? You think that gang rape, that
mass rape,
do you think
that the acts that Israel did that precipitated October 7th?
Hang on, look.
Do you think October 6th, 5th, 4th, 8th, 9th,
let me ask you the question which has made me infamous, famous, whatever you want to do. But do you condemn Hamas for what they did on October the 7th?
I'm not going to sit here and give an obligatory condemnation of Hamas.
It was a terrorist attack of appalling magnitude.
Of what I think.
Surely on pure humanity grounds.
Piers, listen.
You cannot watch the devastating murder of 1,200 people and not say it was a despicable terror act and condemn the people who did it.
Look, listen, I'm not going to give an obligatory condemnation of Hamas. What I will do is condemn the policies that precipitate violence. What I will do is condemn the roots of the violence, because inevitably, you will have blowback when you deny millions of people basic human rights, when they're living under brutal medieval siege and barbaric military occupation, a fascist military occupation in the West Bank. Hamas doesn't govern the West Bank. Look at what Israel has done in the West Bank since October 7th.
You can't condemn Hamas for what they did on October the 7th.
This is not about Hamas.
Well, it's all about Hamas.
I condemn what will beget violence, inevitably.
What are you talking
I'm not
about?
going to sit here and condemn Hamas.
The entire war.
I'm sorry?
This entire war has been because of what Hamas did on October the 7th. You can go back in history.
Not.
You can go back in history and you
Piers.
can find arguments on both sides in the last 70 years. Right, I've had the arguments many times.
No, because
but you cannot
see,
dispute
what you're doing is...
What am I doing?
What you're doing is conflating and pretending like there are two equal sides. Oh, they've just been fighting for decades. There's always reasons on both sides to start the violence. No, that's not true. There's one side that's an occupying, colonizing force that continuously and violently expels and subjugates and brutalizes and terrorizes the other side. They are living under the boot of Israeli authorities, whether you're in Gaza and occupied completely militarily by the outside, or whether you're living under a fascist military dictatorship in the West Bank.
So do you, if
that
you believe,
is the root of the violence.
Okay,
that is the root of the violence. This is 75 years of ethnic cleansing and apartheid.
All right, I hear you. Let me ask you this. If you believe then that Hamas are a armed resistance, as you put it, and they have, presumably then you believe what they did on October the 7th was justified, do you?
I didn't say that. No, absolutely
well,
not.
Wouldn't that be
I'm not sitting here justifying anything.
Isn't the logical extension of your argument, if you believe they're an armed resistance and they are they are doing what they're doing because they are responding
to acts
of terror by another side, surely you would say that what they did was justified. Or if it's not justified, what is it? You either condemn it or you think it's justified. I don't think you can sit in the middle, can you?
Look, I don't need to sit here and give a condemnation of Hamas. I can explain why Hamas exists. I don't have to support what they did. I don't have to justify or rationalize it.
Yes, so violence in the face of rape
as a person who studies history
is complicity.
You can sit as a person who studies history. Emily, you're doing the exact same thing and you're projecting it on me. Okay, so do you condemn the actions of Israel for killing 13,000 children?
I don't accept that 13,000 children have been killed. That hasn't
anything that's been verified. This is the problem.
But it depends on the context of what's happening. Do I condemn certain actions of the state of Israel?
Palestinians their reality.
Do I think Israel is always right?
You're denying Palestinians their reality. This is why Palestinians have to show their dead kids on camera.
Do I think everything Israel has done, even in this war, is correct? No. There's no problem with saying that.
What has been wrong? What have they done?
I already said the same thing about Hamas.
Hang on, Abby.
I already said the same thing about Hamas.
Emily, tell me what Israel's done that's wrong in your eyes.
I think that should have been a priority from the beginning, in order to plan a safe evacuation route before they implemented a military plan. I think that everything has been done too late.
Okay, Abby, what would you say Hamas have done wrong?
Again, I'm not going to say. I don't even know really what happened.
You can't
on
find
October
How hard
7th
is it
in
to
terms of-
condemn rape?
You can't find anything to say they
all
did that
of
was
the
wrong?
lies that have been perpetrated. Look, Hamas killing civilians. I'm sure atrocities were committed on both sides on October 7th. I'm
On
sure
October
that
7th,
many
atrocities
civilians
were
killed.
committed.
I don't know.
What
I don't know
atrocities did
how
Israel
many
commit on
civilians
October
were
7th?
killed by Israel. Emily, I can't even hear myself talk because you just can't
All
stop
right,
talking.
let Abby speak.
There's so many lies that were put out by Israeli authorities that it's really hard to parse through. Look, I mean, we don't know how many civilians were killed in the crossfire by Israeli soldiers enlisting the Hannibal Directive. So, look, the mass rape,
What
the
about
beheaded babies, the ripping the babies out of pregnant women's stomachs. I mean, all of these things are such egregious lies that I really
What
just
about the-
can't sit
okay,
up here
what-
and condemn
Abby,
things that I don't even know what happened
What
or
about
not.
the atrocities which Hamas recorded and filmed themselves and then posted to the world to brazenly
This is
boast
insane.
about what they
It's
were
insane.
doing? What about that?
Look, nothing that Hamas did on October 7th compares to what Israel has done in
No,
recent
I'm
months
asking
and
you a
what
direct
precipitated
question
October 7th.
about the fact that they
And
boasted about the
but
mass
the thing
murder
is, you
they were
guys
committing.
just make it all about October 7th, and that's what I'm saying. It all pales in comparison, Piers,
But if
to
you
everything
can't
that
condemn
precipitated October
anything
7th and
Hamas has
everything
done.
that happened, I already said.
You haven't
I already said
condemned them.
No, you
killing
haven't.
civilians is wrong.
So what
Killing
they did,
civilians is wrong.
So what Hamas did on October 7th
So
was wrong.
what does that make what Israel has done?
Hang on, I'm trying to unpick your argument. So if it's wrong to kill civilians, were Hamas wrong to do what they did on October the 7th, given how many civilians were brutally murdered?
Are you doing the same thing to
Oh my
Emily?
God,
And if
man.
not,
Just asking,
why?
do you think it was wrong?
Why are you not sitting here
Do you
and
think it
picking
was
apart?
wrong?
Is it wrong to kill 13,000
Why
children?
can't you answer a
Is it
simple
wrong
question?
to kill
Actually, he did ask
100?
this.
I already said it.
Was it
Piers.
wrong?
I'm not going to sit here. You're basically comparing Hamas to Israel.
No, I'm not comparing anything.
that's
You
really
said just
unfortunate.
now,
Yes,
unless I'm mistaken, you just said to me that the killing of innocent civilians is wrong. I then asked you, fairly self-evidently, I think, the question, that in that case, given that Hamas showed us on tape them killing civilians, innocent civilians, on October the 7th, do you accept that was wrong? Yes or no?
You saw the tape.
Yeah,
Piers?
they showed us.
You saw the tape of them killing innocent civilians.
Yes, they literally broadcast it to the world. Yes, we all did.
And so do Israeli soldiers.
Fine,
in a
why can't
depraved
you
fashion.
forget
It's
Israel
like
for a
watching,
moment?
It's
This
like
is insane.
watching.
Forget Israel for a moment.
It's like watching Nazis.
If it's wrong to kill
during World
innocent
War II
civilians, Abby,
on social media.
If it's wrong to kill innocent civilians, I'll ask you one more time. You haven't got to answer, up to you. But viewers are watching this and they know you haven't answered. You think it's wrong to kill innocent
I already
civilians?
answered. I think
It's disgusting.
I think it's wrong to kill innocent civilians.
So what Hamas did was wrong.
She's not going to answer.
It's unbelievable.
Answer.
It's unbelievable. It's
Last time.
unbelievable.
I'm going to ask it. So.
I don't. I already told you. I'm
It's
not going to sit here
unbelievable,
and condemn what Hamas did.
Right.
I understand why. And I don't have to agree with what Hamas did. Right. To understand
That wasn't my
why
question.
things
I just
happen.
asked you whether
To
the mass
understand
murder
why
perpetrated on
violence
October the 7th
erupts.
was wrong.
To understand why there's blowback for horrific policies of apartheid and ethnic cleansing. There's obviously inevitably going
October
to
the
be blowback
7th
and
was
violence from
blowback.
those policies. Yes, absolutely, it was
Right.
blowback.
But was it wrong?
100%.
Was it wrong?
I'm not. Look, I don't know how much you want to just go around the mulberry bush like this.
I think it's a fairly straightforward
you can
question.
just-
I don't see how anyone can come on a
Is
show
what
like this.
Israel is doing
How
is
can
wrong.
you take
Can
part
you
in a
ask
debate like
Emily
this and
that? Is
say
what Israel
killing
is doing
innocent
to
civilians
kill
is wrong,
13,000
but I'm not going to
civilians?
tell you what Hamas did on October the 7th was wrong. It makes no sense, Abby. No sense.
Silence.
I'm not going to sit here and condemn Hamas. I'm
Okay.
not.
You know what? If your blood doesn't boil after watching a video, it's absolutely. I don't even know what else to say. I really don't even know what else to say. I've made a few clips and videos about Abby before. I'm trying to be so sensitive and careful with my words right now because I'll get kicked off of YouTube if I say what's going through my head right now. There's nothing to say. I mean, like, if you want to call what Hamas did on October 7th a resistance movement, in a freedom fight, you can go ahead and do that. Just remember that the things that you're condoning for resistance and freedom are all of the atrocities that have been shown with body footage, people that I've met, that were there, that saw it, that witnessed it, that heard it, that fled from it, that escaped it, that survived it. Yet, Abby Martin can't come out publicly on any platform and condemn it. Yet she doesn't agree with killing innocent civilians. Make sense of that. If you want to continue the conversation, you can support my work for free. Discord does not cost a thing. It is the best way to connect with me and others who are seeking the truth. The link is in the description. But if you want to take it one step further, my Patreon gives you access to the Israel you don't see, uncovering the untold stories of what mainstream media does not show you. The link is in the description, and it helps me to continue this work. Or if you're just looking to help this thing go, PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee is a really easy way to support me. This work does not happen without all of you. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you next time.